Boys, UFC 311, Makhachev versus Tsarukyan number 2 this Saturday, the first pay-per-view of 2025. And honestly, this is how UFC should be making the first pay-per-view of the year. Not like last year where we had, Strickland and DDP. And then for the co-main, some random-ass women title fight that nobody gives two shits about. With that being said, we're going to start with the early prelims, move our way up to that main event, and your boy's going to give you his rare predictions on who I think is going to win and how with a 110%, honestly, success rate. Let's start off flyweight division. Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Clayton Carpenter. Tagir is a dominant forward pressure wrestler with a decent striking game to him. You know, he has a strong jab and he likes to hide his takedowns with striking. You know, he uses his long jab, then he uses that to set up a takedown, but he is pretty vulnerable to takedowns if he's being pressured forward. He doesn't do very well on the back foot. Tagir's UFC wins were very grapple heavy, and you know, we have seen him a little bit vulnerable to those takedowns if he is on the back foot, which is a concern, like we saw in I believe it was a Tim Elliott fight. And moving down to Clayton Carpenter, he is a undefeated prospect who's striking, you know, this dude's striking definitely needs some work. You know, hit me up for some pad work, Clayton, I got you. You know, as we've seen in some of his recent fights, he is definitely more of a wrestler than a striker. His wrestling and control is pretty impressive. He has some slick grappling with him. He has a fast pace and is always hunting for that finish. And you know, he's somewhat new to the UFC, but he's been competing pretty much forever and has a good amount of competition experience to him. But at times he can go for submission over position and then he'll end up losing that position. He doesn't have a feeling out process. He always starts off super fast. This is a big jump up in competition for Clayton. And although Tagir can get taken down with Clayton's pressure, I don't know if he can, one, consistently take him down, and two, win off points either in the striking or, again, consistently taking him down. I don't think he can do that, where I think Tagir can. I think it'll be a very competitive first round, and then second and third, I think Tagir will pull ahead. I'm going 29-28. Clayton taking the first round, losing the second and third. Tagir Ulanbekov win. Let's keep moving down. Bantamweight division. Ricky Turcios taking on Benardo Sopaj. Now, I believe this was initially scheduled for Vegas 100 a few-ish months ago, maybe a month and a bit ago. What am I talking about? We haven't had UFC for a hot minute now. So yeah, a few months ago. And it was canceled because of Ricky. Now, Ricky is a high-pressure fighter who is always busy. This dude doesn't take a second to rest. He's always moving, always doing something. He sets a very high pace and is consistently landing, pretty sure in like pretty much all of his fights, consistently landing 100 significant strikes. But he does lack takedown accuracy, and his defense isn't that great either. And other than the pressure, which can be pretty overwhelming, that's about it for him. You know, he doesn't really have anything else other than the pressure and the volume. But Benardo, he is a fast-paced, high-energy striker with good power, good speed, good takedown defense and offense. He's fairly well-rounded, I'm not gonna lie, and he is. I don't care about the knockout. He is still a prospect to keep your eyes on. And yeah, he did have probably one of the worst knockout losses that you can have to Vince's Oliveira. It is what it is. That was 7 months ago, which is a little concerning because, you know, 7 months after getting knocked out like that, I would like it to be closer to 10 months, but 7 months, it's not the worst. We saw what's his name? We saw Joshua Van come back quicker than that, also be knocked out, although it wasn't as brutal as Sopaj was, but he's still 24 years old. He's still young, so yes, it was one of the worst knockouts that you could get, and it could 100%, you know, ruin someone's career because that is a career-ending knockout. He's still young. He took enough time off where he should be recovered enough to be better than ever, to be honest. And besides that KO factor, Benardo is just simply better everywhere other than the pace than Ricky. And I do think he's going to be maybe a little bit hesitant first round. I still think he wins this fight. And I don't see Ricky having the power to put away Benardo. We have to see what his chin is like, but I'm going first round. Ricky wins that round just because Benardo's a little bit hesitant. Round 2, we see Benardo gaining some takedowns, doing some ground and pound work here, just simply dominating round 2. Round 3, a little bit very similar to the second round, but this time, round 3, he's going to take him down, ground and pound, TKO win for Benardo. Lock that shit in. Let's go down to the bantamweight division again. Reinier Nakamura taking on Munin Gafarov. Now, Reinier, he's a very high level wrestler, and he does have some crazy power in his hands. He can definitely KO pretty much anyone in this bantamweight division. But, sometimes this dude, shout out to the boy Cody Garbrandt, because Reinier Nakamura has the tendency, he can go a little bit Cody Garbrandt crazy. And, just have some wild, sloppy striking, which isn't the best look. Where Munin, he's also a very skilled wrestler, but he loves to have a high-paced fight. But to be honest, his wrestling, his skills is a little bit overrated. I'm going to say it how it is. It is a little bit overrated. Just like we saw in one of his recent fight against Kang, he didn't look as good as at least I originally thought. He also likes to go strike for strike with you, which isn't a good thing when you're fighting someone who has a KO ability like Nakamura. And if his wrestling isn't working out, he's pretty much a sitting duck. I'm not gonna lie. He has okay power and cardio, where at this point, I think, yes, this is a step up in competition for Reinier. Like, Munin isn't just a can. He is pretty good. But I think Reinier's wrestling is going to be way better than Munin. Plus his power, his KO ability, way more. And I think, to be honest, I think I could see a round one finish. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go round 1. Reinier drops Munin and goes for a submission, like a rear naked choke as Munin's trying to get back up. I'm going round 1 submission for Reinier Nakamura. Let's go down women's bantamweight division. Carla Rosa taking on Aylin Perez. Now, Rosa is a pretty busy striker with okay accuracy, and she is willing to trade with you, but like a lot of these women fighters, she's a decision fighter. She's a decision merchant. She has close to, if not zero, finishing ability, and she has some solid takedown defense and offense. Nothing special, but she does lack the power, and she really just relies on her cardio and pressure to win fights. I'm gonna say it how she is. That's all she really does to win fights, and she has shown in some of her fights to have some good fight IQ. Like in her last fight, I think it was against Josephine Nunes, she completely destroyed that leg and beat her up all 3 rounds. So Aylin Perez, on the other hand, she's a well-rounded fighter who has a very heavy forward pressure wrestling style. She is pretty big for this women's bantamweight division, and she does use that size and strength for her advantage, but I don't even know if she can make weight, to be honest. She has missed weight in the past. She has a good jab, and because she's so big for the division, her jab is a pretty long, snappy jab. She uses trips well. She has decent control on the ground, and her cardio can be an issue sometimes, but I am worried about the weight, because I don't know if she can make this weight, and I could see her missing weight if this fight does go on. I think first and second round, Aylin Perez is going to be too big, too strong, going to keep Carla Rosa on the ground majority of that fight. Round 3, we're going to see Aylin Perez a little bit more tired, and it'll be a swing round, 29-28, maybe 30-27 on some judges' scorecards. I got Aylin Perez winning this one pretty comfortably. Let's go down. A stinker. This is a stinker ass fight, I'm not gonna lie. Lightweight division, Grant Dawson, Diego Ferreira. Grant Dawson is a good, boring as hell grappler with good, strong ground game and good pressure, but he has some garbage ass striking, and I'm just not excited for this fight whatsoever. Diego Ferreira is very well rounded, has good BJJ skills and good striking, and he has some power. I'm not gonna say he has nothing, but he has some power, and his takedown offense, it's okay. It isn't the greatest. Same thing with his defense. Nothing special. If there's going to be a finish, it's going to be Diego Ferreira knocking out Grant Dawson, who, he does have a little bit of a sus chin. But to be honest, Grant Dawson will probably make this a very boring 3-round decision where he takes down Diego all 3 rounds and holds him there. 30-27 Grant Dawson with the most boring decision of the night. Let's go down. Now we're into the normal prelims. That was the end of the early prelims. Normal prelims, middleweight division. Zachary Reese taking on the boy Boongang himself. Now, Zachary Reese, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be 100% honest. This dude might be the most overrated prospect we have in the UFC right now. He has been consistently inconsistent in pretty much all of his UFC fights. And he does look like a prospect sometimes in some of his fights. And then other times, he just looks extremely underwhelming. And, it's 50-50 which Zachary Reese comes up. He's going to look like a high-level prospect, or he's going to look like a normal middleweight, which is not good because the middleweight division isn't that great. But he's a well-rounded fighter he's pretty tall for the division as well. I believe he's like 6'4", or something crazy like that. He has good, strong striking, good power in his hands. He has good wrestling, although his wrestling, again, can be inconsistent, and he has good, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but again, maybe it's the fight IQ he lacks, but he can rely on that shit way too much, which let him gain slammed on his head in one of his previous fights against Cody Brundage, where Boongang, he has improved a lot. I'm not gonna lie, before Boongang was pretty garbage. He could have been cut from the UFC from his first fight. That's how bad he was, and he has been improving. He still doesn't have the greatest fight IQ or ability to adjust mid-round. That being said, he's also pretty I'm just shitting on Boongang at this point, but on the feet, Boongang is better. On the ground, Zachary Reese destroys him, which I think is going to happen. My boy Boongang is more of a striker than a grappler. I think Zachary Reese is going to take down my boy Boongang in the first round and submit him. I'm going first round submission, Zachary Reese. Let's keep moving down. Heavyweight division, Jailton Almeida taking on Sergey Spivak. Now, Jailton he's a very high level grappler. Probably he is one or two best grapplers in the heavyweight division. He's taken down everyone, which is surprising, even Curtis Blades, which I think, yes, he's been taken down by Jailton Almeida. I just think Curtis Blades is a better grappler, but you could say Jailton and Almeida. There's an argument to be made, but Almeida, his striking, nothing that special, but he does make up for his pretty garbage striking by taking people down and ground and pounding from there. And to be honest, there's a chance this dude is on the sauce too, so I don't know if it's also, the sauce has got into his head. Maybe all that juice has got into his head and made his fight IQ even lower, because, again, fight IQ isn't the highest either. Perfect example when he was nut hugging Curtis Blades and was being repeatedly hit in the head, hammer fist style, for like 30 times in the temple, and he just let it happen until he went unconscious. So, fight IQ might be a problem, but Sergey Spivak, a classic NPC in the heavyweight division. He's a wrestler he has good ground game, good ground and pound, okay submissions here and there, but he can be sloppy here and there and has trouble controlling his opponents on the ground with okay striking. Again, NPC of a heavyweight. I think grappler versus grappler, Almeida is better. I'm going Almeida round 2, ground and pound TKO. Let's go down bantamweight division. I believe this is the main event of these prelims. Payton Talbott taking on the old man Raoni Barcelos. Now, Payton Talbott is honestly one of the highest regarded prospects we have in the UFC right now. He is extremely fast and accurate, and he also has that one hitter quitter type of power, the one punch KO power with solid takedown defense and the ability to work back to his feet after being taken down. Although yes, he's still extremely green in the UFC and very untested. This is still a big test for him, because Barcelos, he's a 5-time Brazilian national wrestling champion, and he has shown that he still has it in some of his recent fights, but this dude's 37 years old in the bantamweight division. I think, yes, this is a big test for Payton Talbott, but we're just going to see the difference in speed and, most importantly, age. Round 1 KO for Payton Talbott. I'll say under 2.5 minutes, to be honest. Let's keep moving down. Main card now. We got that middleweight division. Kevin Holland taking on Reinier de Ridder. Now, Kevin Holland, obviously a fan favorite because of his fighting style, but this dude can be so annoying to watch just because I don't know if it's his fight IQ or if it's ego, not wanting to take things serious. He's pretty well rounded, but his whole career he has struggled with the takedowns, and he is very accurate and a powerful striker, but again, his takedown defense is his biggest hole in his game. And the fact that he just came off a TKO loss to Roman Dolidze because of that broken rib, a little bit concerning, I'm not gonna lie. Reinier, on the other hand, is a solid grappler with very good takedowns and submission threats, and he has a very tall frame for this middleweight division, but he's just built so weird that, he has those poking out ribs, which are just begging for Kevin Holland to kick him in the stomach, it's begging Kevin Holland to do some nasty things to those ribs, which I could 100% see Kevin Holland gain a KO win via body shots, because those ribs are begging to be hit. But I don't think that's how it's going to go. He doesn't have the best striking in the world. And if he can't get the takedowns, he looks like a goofy goober, I'm not gonna lie. But if he can submit GM3, he can submit Kevin Holland. I'm going round 3 submission. I think round 1 and 2, Kevin Holland is going to be winning that fight, and he's going to pull a lucky rabbit out of the hat like he did with GM3. And I'm going to say it's going to be something stupid, honestly. I could see I'm not just going to say a classic rear naked choke. I'm going to go, fuck it, Darce choke. I'll say Darce choke, even though that shit's never going to happen. Lightweight division. Beneil Dariush taking on the boy Money Moicano. Now, Dariush is a very well-rounded fighter. He has good power, good control on the ground, good grappling skills. He also has some power. Don't get it wrong. This dude has some power to knock out some people. But Moicano, on the other hand, this dude's just very tough. He has the ability to survive somehow and come back and get the win, like in the Jailton Turner fight. And to be honest, I don't know if Moicano can take down someone like a Beneil Dariush or even outstrike him, because Moicano's striking isn't anything special either. However, Moicano needs the money. Plus, Dariush has been chinned quite a lot recently. So I'm going Money Moicano, TKO, round 2. Round 2, TKO, Money Moicano. He needs that damn money, and he's not losing. Let's go down to that lightweight division. Jiří Procházka taking on Jamahal. Jiří, he always has that forward style pressure where he's constantly moving forward. He has good power, and he's not afraid to get into a brawl whatsoever. However, technique-wise, he doesn't have the greatest technique. We'll say it like that. Wrestling, jiu-jitsu, doesn't really, we won't talk about that. But what he does have, he's got that dog in him, and he has the ability to get dropped and come back and win. He has that dog in him, and like in one of his recent fights against Rashid, he has no quit in him. He's going to come back and get that win. However, he has been in some wars, not just recently, but in this dude's entire career. And at this point, I am worried about that chin. Not gonna lie. Because you have Jamahal. Jamahal is a very good striker who has very good power. He has one-shot KO power. I'm not gonna lie. He also, he has good takedown defense. But this dude's injuries, his long layoffs, lack of fights recently, also concerning. That being said, round 1 will be crazy as hell. Round 2, Jamahal is flatlining Jiří Procházka, and I am going to cry on the inside, and I'll cry, but I'll also be kind of happy because then we get to continue the delusion of Jamahal versus Alex Pereira. So round 2, flatline KO over Jiří Procházka. I just think Jiří is too hittable, and Jamahal has the power to put him out. So let's go into the title fight now. Bantamweight division. The title is on the line. Merab Dvalishvili taking on Umar Nurmagomedov. Merab is of course, non-stop chain wrestler with okay striking, insane cardio, and he will constantly be moving forward, shooting. It's because this dude is 100% on something. It's unhuman the way he has this non-stop aggression, non-stop shooting, unhuman-like. His chin, questionable, has been wobbled in pretty much every single fight as of recently. Of course, not in the O'Malley fight where it mattered, but every other fight, even Cejudo was wobbling this dude. Umar, on the other hand, Umar is extremely well-rounded. He has good striking, good wrestling, good power to knock out anyone in this bantamweight division. Has crazy different diverse sets of leg kicks. He has a head kicks, the body kicks. He'll chew up your leg. He has everything. People say you get better when you become the champion. If that's true for Merab, that is a scary-ass thought. However, other than cardio, Umar is better everywhere. And I'm going to have a bold-ass prediction. Round 1, round 2, round 3. All of them is going for Merab Dvalishvili. However, round 3, we start seeing a little bit better on the Umar side. He's able to control Merab on the ground a little bit longer. Round 4, this dude is getting Merab in a crucifix position. TKO ground and pound, round 4, 4th minute, 37 seconds. Mark it down, put the house on it, because that shit's happening. Let's go down to the lightweight division. Lightweight division, I'm not even going to explain how that's going to happen. It's going to happen. Lightweight division, again, title fight, Islam Makhachev taking on Arman Tsarukyan. Number 2, this is the rematch. However, let's be realistic. These dudes have both improved so much. The first fight, who cares? Just imagine it never happened. Islam Makhachev, of course, currently number 1 pound for pound fighter in the UFC with, honestly, some of the best wrestling skills. And not just wrestling skills, when are we going to admit that this guy has made such high improvements in his striking that he is also one of the best strikers in the lightweight division and is just extremely dangerous anywhere? You know, he has that aggressive grappling style, which is, he's always looking for, you know, to punish you on the feet, to find you on the ground, to submit you, to do some ground and pound work, where Arman, he has good wrestling skills, nice striking, crazy athleticism. You know, this dude is hitting the nastiest axe kick on Charles Oliveira, and he mixes everything in very nicely. He mixes in kicks very nicely. He mixes in takedowns very nicely and effortlessly. He also has a good submission defense, so I don't know if Islam can submit this dude. You know, like we saw against Charles Oliveira, he'll literally get butt-ass naked to get out of a submission threat, so I don't know if Islam will be able to do it, but mark my words, cardio, I favor Arman slightly. Wrestling, I favor Islam slightly as well. Striking, about even, you know, I'd say about even. Arman has been chinny in the past, you know, we have seen this dude wobbled. Islam, not so much. I mark my words, round 4 again, it's going to be very even. Round 1, 2, and 3, both very, very even rounds where you can have it for either of the guys. Round 4, second minute, 32nd second. Head kick KO, Volkanovski style. Mark my words, write that shit down. That is every single fight on UFC 11. Who's going to win and how? Let me know in the comments below. Who do you guys have in the main event and co-main event? Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. With all that being said, guys, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.